it was like that week between Christmas and New Year's, and my buddy had taken some time off, and he was the duty agent, so I had to cover a duty call for him, and it was right after man, what was the? Oh, it was after Nashville, the explosion in
Okay.
Nashville, and so there had been some chemical shipment up to the small town in coal country in north of Allentown, and so I ran up there just to run down these chemicals, and it turned out they were for tanning leather or something like that, but it took the whole day to run it down. So I'm hanging out in the police department, and there's a flyer of a little girl with pink hair and that she's missing. So I start talking to the detective, and she comes from kind of a troubled background. And the detective's like, yeah, she's been missing since the beginning of December. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's something we could probably help you out with. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what the FBI does. If a kid's missing, we can help you out with it, but you have to be kind of respectful when you're offering assistance to local departments, as I'm sure you're aware of, because they're not always receptive, and you don't want to come in acting like you want to take over. So you just got to be very respectful when you're offering assistance. So I did that, and I'm like, hey, do you mind if I talk to the dad? And he's like, well, I'm waiting for some phone records from the father. And so with his blessing, I reach out to the father, and the father's like, yeah, I'm waiting on these records from AT&T. I said, bud, your daughter's been missing since like for 3 weeks. I said, I'd drive down to the AT&T office and get the DM records.
Yeah.
And so he gets them to me within like half an hour, and I identify this number. And by this time, it's New Year's Eve. Yeah, it's New Year's Eve, because it was in between. It's like 2 days later. And I call my boss and I said, hey, I got this number. It's ringing out in Kansas City or pinging out there. I'd like to call out there. I just want to keep you apprised. He's like, ha, good luck getting anybody on New Year's Eve to go out and run down that number, which is right. Everybody's off, right? So I call out to Kansas City and get this awesome supervisor. He's like, are you kidding me? I've got 15 task force officers that would love to make double overtime. So they go out and they kick in the door. The guy's 25. He met this little girl on the internet and had taken her out to Kansas City. And they kick in the door on New Year's Eve. And then they interview the kid, and you have to take the kid to like
Kid's still alive then.
the kid's still alive. Yeah, she's 13. And so they recover the child, and they're interviewing her, and they do like a child forensic interview. So it's individuals that are very adept at interviewing kids. And they're talking to her all about the kid or the individual that she was with out in Kansas City. And at the end, the interviewer leaves, and to get her a bottle of water, comes back, and the kid's like, oh, by the way, I'm also having sex with this 40-year-old that comes down from Connecticut. Like, just boom. And so they send me that information, and we're able to get that guy identified. And we go up to Connecticut, serve a search warrant on his house, and recover all kinds of evidence. And they were talking via Snapchat. And so I never dealt with Snapchat before, and I talked to a more experienced agent in the office that's done a lot of like Snapchat investigating, and he's like, "Ha, good luck getting anything from them." So we do a search warrant to Snapchat and get a big data dump back that makes no sense whatsoever. And I have to go through like 10,000 Snapchat messages and put them in order by date so that you can make sense of, because Snapchat isn't real law enforcement friendly. They'll
No.
give you the information, but they give you a dump. So I had to marry all that up. And from that, we were able to prove that that guy had come down to Connecticut, from Connecticut to Pennsylvania 5 times. taken the kid up to Connecticut with him for weekends, and that he had her make videos for him, pornographic videos, and we were able to charge him with that. And he just got sentenced to 17 years.